What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, The Hot Commodity, and you are checking out our WWE NXT recap from September 10th, 2024. Things are heating up with NXT as we're on the road to Halloween Havoc. But to kick off tonight, we have the NXT Tag Team Champions Axiom and Nathan Frazer defending against the Street Profits. Initially, it was supposed to be the Rascals versus Frazer and Axiom, but due to, I think, like scheduling issues, they weren't able to compete. So the Street Profits take the Rascals' plates. During this match, though, the Street Profits land a super blockbuster Nathan Frazer, and then the Bloodline comes out and destroys both teams. The Bloodline letting their presence be felt throughout WWE, including NXT. Basic match here, all leading up to the Bloodline interfering. We see footage of Tony D'Angelo paying someone money to take out Oba Femi tonight. We'll find out who that mystery person is later. We have Chelsea Green taking on the debuting Giulia here at NXT. Um, Decent match here between the two. Chelsea lands a pump kick and then Giulia applies a spider web. Giulia lands a drop kick and a neck breaker off the apron to the floor. Chelsea tosses Giulia over the announce table, but Giulia lands a hard knee and a northern bomb to Chelsea Green, and Giulia defeats Chelsea as Giulia is on the road to take on Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's title on the debut edition of NXT on the CW network. Really good work from Giulia. I don't really get to see a lot of her stuff, so I was excited to see her take on a good competitor in Chelsea Green. Next up, we have our Heritage Cup Championship match. Charlie Dempsey with the No Quarter Catch crew taking on Javon Evans with Cedric Alexander. And this was I never really understand these matches because there's like six falls, there's like six time frames, and whoever gets the most falls and those six rounds gets the win. It doesn't make any sense. But anyways, Javon ends up diving on the floor onto Charlie Dempsey, and then Tavion Heights belly to belly Javon on the floor. Charlie pins Evans, and Charlie Dempsey retains the Heritage Cup with some help from Tavion Heights. The next up, we see footage of Ora Mensa attacking Lexus King at Lexus's barbershop as Lexus is getting his fade worked on. We'll probably see those two guys compete again. A NXT champion All Ego Ethan Page says he's rooting for himself and he doesn't care who wins the main event last man standing match. NXT North American champion Oba Femi takes on TNA wrestler Hammerstone. This is the first time we're seeing Hammerstone in an NXT ring. Hammerstone is known in the TNA for taking on the likes of Josh Alexander and many others. This was a okay match, not a really good outing for Hammerstone. Oba ends up tossing Hammerstone hard to the mat and lands a power bomb, and Oba Femi defeats Hammerstone. Tony D'Angelo was not able to take out Oba Femi, even with the hired help of Hammerstone. Next up, we see Ridge Holland defeat Duke Hudson with Chase University by his side. Ridge lands a jackhammer and the Redeemer, and Ridge gets the victory. After the Ridge is not done with Duke, he tosses Duke through the railing, and then Ridge drops the railing on top of Duke Hudson, and then Holland lands the Redeemer for good measure on top of the railing. Ridge Holland decimating all of Chase U, and he's showing his true characters. He didn't want to let the side of him out, but I'm excited to see this bad guy in Ridge Holland show up again. Wes Lee interrupts the commentators and says he wants to fight Trey Miguel in a street fight on the CW network debut. That will be a good match. These two are former friends and former TNA tag teams in the Rascals, so it'll be good to see these guys go at it. Next up, TNA Women's Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace has her open challenge against Sol Ruca. During this match, the lights go off. Rosemary appears, smiles at Jordynne Grace as Wendy Choo applies a sleeper hold and Jordynne Grace passes out. It looks like Wendy Choo and Rosemary have their eyes on TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace, making their presence felt. Giulia tells Roxanne Perez backstage that she believes that Roxanne is afraid of her. That will have to change when Roxanne faces her in a couple of weeks. And we've made it to our main event, the last man standing #1 contenders match. The winner will take on NXT champion Ethan Page. Pete Dunne takes on Trick Williams in this last man standing match. Trick lands a pump kick and a kick shot. Pete Dunne powerbombs Trick Williams through a table set up in the corner. Pete Dunne then lands a Russian leg sweep off the balcony through a table on the floor to Pete Dunne. And then All Ego Ethan Page comes out, but then Trick Williams backdrops Page through a table, and Trick Williams stands up, defeating Pete Dunne in this last man standing match. And we now know Trick Williams will take on NXT champion All Ego Ethan Page. Will he retain the title? We'll have to wait and see. We've got the debut episode of NXT on the CW network. We've got more Raw, SmackDown recaps, AEW Dynamite. We've got Grand Slam, Wrestle Dream coming up. Attitude Year Season 3 will be dropping soon. So until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.